So, question was asked, how do you get to perform at the Super Bowl performance? First of all, you have to get A pluses all across the board in order to perform at the Super Bowl. You can't get a B minus to perform at the Super Bowl. No, you can't get a B minus, you can't get an A minus. It has to be an A plus to perform at the Super Bowl, which means in order to perform at the Super Bowl, you must also be able to make the physical purchase of the products for your team, and you must not owe any finances when you make the physical purchase for your team in order to perform at the Super Bowl. Because you have to remember, the Super Bowl only happens once every 4 years. Kind of like the Winter Olympics, it only happens once every 4 years. The Super Bowl is not a necessity for the Super Bowl to happen every single year. I don't see a reason why it has to happen every single year. Okay? So I absolutely don't like the factor of the Super Bowl happening every single year. No. Super Bowl every 4 years, the same venue as the Olympics. A pluses across the board. Number one in education. Number two, you have to owe negatory on finances, which means that you don't owe anything on a credit card. You pay back the credit card bill. You don't owe anything on any land purchases such as internet bill, phone line, none of that in order to perform at the Super Bowl. You don't owe anything when it comes to cash. Now, do I care where you go as long as you are not in that retrospect? Then yes. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So, therefore, it's very seldom the pick for those who get to perform at the Super Bowl. Very, very seldom. All right? Um, so, yeah, that's it. No money owed, and A pluses across the board with all subjects. And that's how you get picked to be able to perform at the Super Bowl. That's it. Same thing with the World Cup, same thing with the baseball stuff. Anything in the sporting field, you gotta be A pluses across the board and no finances owed. Because you have to remember that sports is the most expensive arena to be involved in. You can't owe any money because it costs money, and they already end up in the negatory getting you there. So you can't owe any money for them to get you there. If you owe money, you dismiss yourself in getting a ride to the area in order to be picked up for that performance when it comes to sporting arenas. Okay? You dismiss yourself in being able to get picked up. So if you owe money, you're not gonna get picked up. If you don't owe any money, you will get picked up. Okay? You will get picked up and you will be driven and you will be taken care of. But once again, if you do not owe any money, which is why I kind of like working with Exxon Canada, is because they work with those who do not owe any money in the repayment program, meaning that all of their bills that has been paid off, if they owe bills before, it has all been paid off. They owe no money, and it makes me feel at ease in working with Exelon Canada when it comes to receiving my payments from and through Exelon Canada attached to by social services. It means I owe absolutely no money for this in order to be able to do that. So, with that being the case, that's how you get to the sporting arena performance in any sports activity, which, yes, also includes the Olympics as well. Now, can the athletes owe money? Yes. However, can the musical performances owe money? No. No. So, that being the case, thanks for asking. See you in the next one. Bye.